Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas. To understand letters and letter positions and what they mean, you have to understand also quite easy, significant places. We all know what is up, what is down, what is horizontal, what is vertical, what is in the middle, what is somewhere in the material, what is at the borders. There are certain things that you have to learn to realize it even better what it is. And I will make a video here to show the difference between certain balances, like a kind of yin-yang balances, that show you how letters are really about positioning. And the letter T, for instance, is a positioning very close by what we want to measure, what we want to use immediately, down to earth, where we have it, where we can use it personally, and so on. The letter S is almost the opposite. It is, it's very far away. It is almost impossible to measure very well, but you can sense it. It has a certain effect. So it is between what you can measure very well in T and what you cannot measure very well in S, or which is very big or very general and all these things. A combination of S and T in words, of course, will show you that kind of balance. And when the word starts with T or with S, of course, it will make the whole world of a difference. I have my scheme here at the right that you can look into to check again, like what is a position, does this position mean, if you want to learn it more. But you can see already this balance already very well here. Something close by, nearby, very measurable, or hardly measurable, very, very far away. And all the letters can be positioned in these three regions actually. A region which is stable, which is close by, a region which is moving, or a region which is very general, and we have to check what do we have here all, and you can see what by seeing different elements how the balance is at that point. So that's quite presentation of how this goes actually. And the positions in between, you see this green arrow is this movement from one thing to another, while there the things are so far away that I have to measure what do we have here in the S. There's so many things there, so that we have to measure a very wide range actually. YT is a very small range. It's a point actually. So you have this on top of also all these letters that fit there. It's all these far away and dependent situations in time and space, which you have to measure a little bit to see where they fit. Everything which is close by is what comes very near to you. You make a choice actually. It seems to be steady, not very sure that it is so, but it seems steady, and you can use it and then you can experience it after a while if it remains like that, if you can use it in the general sense as well. So the reality is here with these letters in the first word test, we have actually a letter from the first category, which is close by, which is your personal notice in the T letter. You have a letter from the reality of events. That is all what is moving in time and so on. The real reality, what is really happening, what is changing, all these things are in between these two zones. And then this far away zone is of course the place where also the letter S is lying. So you have test in this order. You start close by with a personal notice. You start to measure it actually, and then you see how it behaves. So to the reality of events in the letter A is the second one. The S is then this far away general rules actually. So after the reality of events, you see how much it fits into the general rules, and then what's the conclusion? Then you can come back to the personal place. And that's what you do in test. That's what happens in test. So you have a certain reality, you face it again in how it evolves during the time events of reality, in this level of reality, of where all the changes are, and into the general rules, and then see back again, if you compare them to the general rules and to what evolves, if it's still there, and if it's what do we have at the end as a close by direct notice that is measurable. That's what test is describing. Star has also the letter T and S, as of course it's the same position, the positions for T and S, but they are the other way around. So you start from the general rule where you don't see very well, so the measurements are quite, sometimes also a bit vague at the sides, as where the star is, where it starts, where you don't see really where does it really start, where does it end. But you see the position in time and space, in context, like the last category is. You see the context, you see it positioned. So in context, where does it come from? How far does it deviate, and so on? It's difficult to measure, but you can sense the effect. You can see the effect. The letter A is then, of course, is following actually the lifted up by the T. The T lifts up. Where do I notice the things? It's there in the general rule where it started. So I lift my A, or position of focus, up to that position where I can see the star. And there is the star, and I follow it. You can also follow the arrows. You can follow its movement, its connections, and so on. And you see what it means for you as for your personal significance, because that's how we will see the stars. We don't see them as a very far away thing. We also will say, what does these stars mean? What does a star mean? How can I be a star? And these things. So we will measure it also in comparison to what we think is measurable, to what we think is significant, is meaningful, and so on. And that's how we project our measurements into the heavens of what is actually rules that are more difficult to see. How they rule there, it's difficult to see, but you can see them at the right point in the right context as an effect, as the S has is showing. You can see it even better here. The R is actually, if you look into my system also of meanings, R is about connecting itself in time and space, and mostly into this bow, actually, as it always makes connections it makes connections in time, in space, in time and space, in time-space contexts, as it is. And the T is always about measurements, the S is always about effects, and the A is always about the focus, where we lifted our focus up to the stars. So I hope this was also clear enough to understand also the letters and the letter position, and how we combine them by depending on which letter do we start. From which letter do we start? From the S, from the general rule, or the T from the local rule. There you can already interpret why and how we are using the word, and in which context we are using the word. This is a way to analyze the meaningfulness of letters, why they are meaningful, how it comes that they are meaningful. It's a whole different chapter. That will take us too long, but I hope this was enjoyable for understanding star and test. Thanks again for watching. Bye.